Hello again, Year 5. This is Wednesday's lesson for this week. Still going on with our Spades magazine, of course. So, we're going to start off with Spag Start. We've done subordinate clauses for the last couple of days, but this time we're going to move on to doing about formal and informal language, which is something we've sort of talked a little bit about before, but obviously this is first sort of, in-depth, shall we call it, look about it. So, do you know the difference between informal and formal language? So if you're doing this with somebody, have a quick chat about it before I reveal it. And then once I do reveal it, it's important that you get the difference wrote down. So you've got it wrote down there in your book. When we come to writing it soon, you've got all the information you need just to talk about it, to go through it, to just to have something to refer back to make sure you're doing the right thing. Right. Oh, when it wants to go. So, formal language. Formal language is used more for official and serious purposes. The correct grammar and standard English should always be used. So again, it's like thinking back to our persuasive letter about the rainforest, to adopt a jaguar, thinking back to more or less everything that we've done apart from that. What was it called? More from doing the voice in the part is informal language. Informal language is used more for casual and less serious purposes, slang words and chatty language. So informal language, more what you'd use if you were just chatting to your friend, or just writing something that's not quite as important, shall we say, or not quite as posh. So I want you to just before we move on, just write all that down. Make sure you know the difference. Put that next to where you're going to do your work today, so it's sort of something that you can get back and refer. Sort the features of formal and informal language into the correct columns. So formal and informal. So pause it here. Tell me which one should go where. Even jot it down if you so wish. So. Can use text, language, and slang is informal. It's what you use to your friend. So is used as a chatty tone. Contraction, so it's or TV rather than television. Whereas formal, we use correct vocabulary, use correct grammar and punctuation, and has a serious tone rather than a chatty tone. So you can see the difference there. That's real. This slide here, if you ever want to refer back to it, that's really, really useful again for you to refer back to. So I want you to tell me, just ignore that, so we don't have a whiteboard. Tell me which one of these is formal or informal. Obviously, I can't check it, but I trust that you will get it right. So, talking to friends, will you use formal or informal language? I'll give you a couple of seconds to decide. It is informal. Formal or informal, writing a job application. So, an application to get an interview for a job. Formal. Writing a letter to your nanan. Informal, because obviously you know her, you can have a laugh and a joke with your nanan. Same with texting your friend, isn't it? Talking to the head teacher, which one would you use? Give you a couple of seconds. Formal. And writing a letter to the Queen, which one would you use? You would obviously use formal, wouldn't you? Because it's very posh, as the Queen is obviously very posh as well, isn't she? So, the last part of your starter is, when it wants to load, I'm not sure why it's gone onto that page. The last part of your starter is, you should have got a sheet that looks like this, Spag Starter. Just match the sentences, see if you can make the sentences more formal. And then your that's your 2 chili challenge. Your 3 chili challenge is, see if you can replace them with informal phrases that have a similar meaning. See if you can try and make them more chatty, but you should have got the Spag Starter at home. I'm sure it'll load up for me in just a minute. It's loading up now. Right, so here's the rest of your bits and bobs here. So this is what your starter should look like. Just connecting them together, making sure that they are making sure that they're formal, so you can use it during use formal sentences using that. Make sure that they have formal phrases like have not, matching that up to its less formal contractions, which are this side. Your second challenge, making the sentences more formal. So again, you've got it there in front of you, and then this one just changing into informal. Right, anyway. So we are writing a non-chronological report, aren't we? We're talking about space. It's a magazine report. We are informing, giving people information. So that's your little thing there. We are writing to inform. We are writing to give people information. So we're writing this to create a magazine about space share with every class in Hucklow Primary School. So we're quite lucky in this respect at the minute. You've got the internet to use at home. You've got your own laptops and other things to get online with properly. And not only that is, we can post it straight on the website for everyone to look at school. So all teachers, all pupils can read your work. And hopefully we'll get some really nice compliments about our hard work in year 5, even at home. So here's 2 pages of magazine. I don't quite have the time to read them all out, but if you pause the video here, you'll be able to read through them perfectly. If you need any help with understanding anything, I'm only ever an email away. So I'll just give you a few seconds to read that. If you want to pause the video, that's more than fine. It's just a great example. It's all about the planet Earth. So it's not just about space, it's all about Earth. So there's each section one by one here. If you want to pause them, read through them. There you go. Again, so pause it, read through. Pause it, read through again. And the same with this one. That's your thing there just to go through. So today we are analysing. So I can see here, I'll take you through. You should all have got sheets. So if you're in red, orange or yellow group, you should have got a sheet that looks like this for you to read through, go through and tell me why the feature is used. In here, you're just going to write the features and see if you can underline and label them. If I go back, and green group, yours should look like that. So just quickly go back to this, underline, tell me where the features are. You're labeling it again, so it's more like what we've looked at in class this time. So again, so it's sort of cutting it down so it fits, and putting it in the middle of your pages, isn't it? So you can underline and label where they go, like we do in class, like we've done for all the other bits apart from the last one that we did. So if I go through this, I'm going to look through the title. You guys, I would probably just use a ruler, underline that, but you can see that the title of it is, when it wants to load, where is it? Here we are. Just change it so you can see it. So I can see that the planet is Earth. If you want to use a different colour, you can do it here. So I've done it in red. So I'll just write red there for the sake of it being easy. And why is that feature used? The title's used because it's to give the reader information of what the article is about. So I'll just write very quickly, telling the reader what the fact, what the report is about. And I can see it all there, can't I? Very quickly and easily. And then as I go down, as I would go down this one here, where is it? I would look through and I would try and find my introduction, which I'd label in, I don't know, I'm going to write it in here this time, so I'll write that I'm doing it in orange. So when I go into this, if I go into this, I'm going to look through the thing here. So I'd find this page, wouldn't I? This is my introduction. So I get my pen in orange, like I've said, and I might just draw a very quick, I wonder if I can use a line actually. I can. So if I go to that, in my book I do that, and then I write out next to it, introduction, just to find it. And I'd write that in here. I would go into this and I'd say, right, an introduction an introduction is used to introduce. I know that's a bit different. An introduction is used to introduce what my report is about, to let the reader know what they will be reading about in a brief and easy way. You can obviously go into more detail about that. I've done that very quickly. Obviously, we know that an introduction is all about quickly introducing what we're learning about, quickly telling people what they're going to be learning about, what they're going to be reading about, and going into the details of the different sort of sections that they're going to be into. So I'll quickly read the introduction. So it just says, our planet Earth is located in a galaxy called the Milky Way. It is the third closest planet to the Sun. It is often referred to as a Goldilocks planet because it has the perfect conditions to support life. Not too hot, not too cold. So again, I'm thinking about parenthesis, which we've recently looked at in Spag Starters. I'm putting that in there. There are many forms of life on our planet. Earth is home to a plethora, so that means a large amount of amazing animals and fascinating plants, which can be found from the highest mountains to the deepest oceans. So, as I'm going through this one quickly, I know what subheadings are. I would find them. I might do them in blue. Formal language. So we're thinking about posh language, aren't we? How the Queen would speak. We're thinking about that, aren't we? So we're trying to find any examples of posh language, which I'll quickly go through now and see if I can find. So I would say that there, that's a great example. So if I was underlining it, I would underline my formal language in purple. There are many forms of life on planet Earth. Earth is home to a plethora of amazing animals and fascinating plants. There are many forms of life. If I was being informal, I might say living things, but I've said forms of life because I'm going into detail. A plethora of amazing animals. I might say Earth is home to lots of amazing animals and fascinating plants if it was being sort of informal, but I've used plethora. I've up-leveled that word to make it sound very, very formal, very posh, making it seem like I know what I'm talking about, which of course we all do, don't we? And then I might go on to this one, topic vocabulary. So that's to do with words to do with the topic that we're writing about. We're writing about Earth, so animals live on Earth. I'm talking about where it is in space. As I go down, I might say like I'm talking about things on Earth like the desert. I might also talk about the go on, you tell me and I'll tell you, the Antarctic there and the Gobi Desert. I'm talking about things on Earth, so deserts, like sort of an example of key vocabulary there, all to do with Earth. Summary is just summarising points, which again we learned to do the other day, and we're doing again very quickly, aren't we? So I could go into a lot more detail there about hot and cold deserts, couldn't I? But in this case, I'm not doing that, am I? I'm thinking about how I can overall talk about that very quickly, and I've summed it up very nicely there. So that would be an example of a summary. I'll just quickly go on to the next one. Bullet points, you should know what that are. Those are fact boxes. Again, we're thinking about little boxes on this that have a bit of facts, such as like this one here. I might say that that's a fact box. I might say what that's for. So I might say that that's just to quickly draw the reader's attention to a nice fact, and again, pictures or diagrams which you can find. So that should all be quite easy for you to do. I look forward to seeing them handed in on Friday. Take your time. Again, get in touch with us using email if you're stuck, and I hope to see you very soon. All right, take care and goodbye.